Mhm. I think it is started. Recording has started. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, doctor.
Okay. So today basically we will start with this discrete time Fourier transform. Okay. Now till now basically we have seen the discrete time signal, discrete time sequence, discrete time systems. Now we will see the discrete time Fourier transform. Okay. Now this is basically, this is abbreviated as DTFT. Okay. There is one more transform we call discrete Fourier transform, that is DFT. Okay. So this also we will see in the coming lecture. Today we will focus on the discrete time Fourier transform, that is the DTFT. Okay. Now this is basically the subset of Z transform. Do you have any idea about the Z transform? Have you learned this in mathematics?
Yes.
Okay, so you are aware about this. Okay, so this is basically this subset of Z transform. Now in Z transform, basically this is the Z plane. This is Z plane. We are having on X axis real part. On our Y axis, we are having imaginary part. Okay, so this is basically a complex plane with real and imaginary axis. Okay, now this Z is basically how we represent this vector. This is having the magnitude r and this angle omega. So the representation of these is basically r e to the power j omega. Okay, and if we extend this, so the real part is, this real part is basically A and this imaginary part is B. So this we can also write as A plus JB. Okay, where A is the real value, B is the imaginary value. Okay, and if I want to find out the magnitude R and the frequency omega, so this, if I'm having the information of A and B, then I can find R and omega with this formula. So this R is nothing but what? The magnitude, which is basically the under root of real part square plus imaginary part square, and omega is nothing but the frequency. So in Z plane, basically this vector is in rotating. Therefore, e to the power j omega, and the speed of rotation is what? Basically omega. So this vector is rotating with the speed omega. Okay. Now, how to find this omega? Omega is nothing but tan inverse of the imaginary part by real part. And the unit for this rotation speed is radians. Okay. Now, in Fourier transform, we consider this R is nothing but equal to 1. So we consider the unit magnitude area of the Z plane. So we consider R is equal to 1. Thus, the Fourier transform is actually Z transform evaluated on a unit circle. So Fourier transform is nothing but the Z transform, but evaluated only on the unit circle. Okay. Now, basically, if we are having the, if you take the sequence like x of n, okay, this can be any sequence. Okay. Now, if we take this sequence x of n and then its dot product with inner product with the sequence e to the power j omega, and suppose e to the power j omega n, if we consider this sequence and this the sequence with dot product of this term e to the power j omega, where this omega is nothing but what we have seen in earlier lecture. Omega is normalized angular frequency. Okay, and the unit of this is radian, but it is normalized angular frequency in terms of discrete systems we have seen. Now, basically, the dot product of this x of n and e to the power j omega is called as DTFT, discrete time Fourier transform of x of n. Okay. Now, for any system, how we represent the system? So, basically, we will focus on uh, so we system represent with the impulse response. So, we write h of n. So any system transfer function basically the impulse response of the system, and that is represent with the term h of n. And suppose we are having the input x of n and the output is y of n. So this is basically linear time invariant system, LTI system. Now, the discrete time Fourier transform of the impulse response of this system, if it converges, then it is called the frequency response of that system. So, for to apply or to get the transform, discrete Fourier transform, so this impulse response should converge. That is very important thing. So this should converge. Then only we can get the frequency response of this system. Okay. So h of n is the impulse response, and after transformation, Fourier transform, will get h of omega, capital H of omega. Now this is what? This is the frequency response of the system. So after doing discrete time Fourier transform, this original impulse response, we can get the frequency response of the same system after the transformation. Okay, this is basically the Fourier transform. Now, so they you just understand that with the existing h of n system impulse response, we will get the frequency response of the system as h of capital H of omega. This is basically omega is nothing but the angular frequency. Now we can also get a vice versa. Like if I'm having this h of omega, and using with this h of omega information, I can also get the original sequence. And this, to get this original sequence from this h of omega, I can use the inverse discrete time Fourier transform. and then I can get the original h of n. Now this h of omega is like the projection of this sequence h of n on the e to the power j omega. Okay, so we can probably there is a possibility to reconstruct this h of n for the its projection h of omega. Now this omega is nothing but what? This omega is a unique space. This is unique. Okay, and this omega is basically having, we have already seen in the previous lecture, omega will vary from 0 to 2 pi. Okay, this is the region for the system. So omega is a unique space only over the interval from 0 to 2 pi. Any interval of 2 pi, omega is there. We define the omega. Now, why this 2 pi? Okay, so basically this 2 pi denotes the sampling frequency on the normalized gain. Okay, so therefore, most of the time we say that omega will vary from minus pi to pi, or we can say it is from 0 to 2 pi. So there should be a interval of 2 pi. Okay, that is the region for our system. For this, I will come later. Okay, I will add more space. Okay, now DTFT of, suppose, the sequence x of n. How we define DTFT of the sequence x of n? We say that that is the projection of the sequence x of n on e to the power j omega n. This is minus j omega n. And this is over summation from n is equal to minus infinity to infinite. Okay, and this is basically denoted with capital X of omega. After transformation, this x of n will get the x of omega. Okay, now let us consider the period of 2 pi. Why there is a period of 2 pi? Let us consider x of omega plus 2 pi. So x of omega plus 2 pi, if I add 2 pi, that is one period, to x of omega here. So what is the formula to get x of omega plus 2 pi? So this is again the summation from n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity. Here over the sequence n, the projection is basically e to the power minus j. Instead of omega, I need to write omega plus 2 pi and into n. Okay, now if I split this term, n equal to minus infinity to infinity, x of n e to the power minus j omega into e to the power minus j 2 pi n. Okay, the value of e to the power 2 pi n is nothing but what? This is having unit value. Therefore, you can say that x of omega plus 2 pi is nothing but what? This is nothing but x of omega. Okay, this is true for all omega. Okay, so there is a uniqueness from the region minus pi to pi, or you can say that only in the period of 2 pi you will get the repetitive sequence. Okay, So beyond that, if you go beyond this 2 pi, so there is only a periodicity that we can say. Okay. So beyond this, we are having periodicity, and there is a uniqueness in the signal in the interval from minus pi to pi only. Okay. So uniqueness over the continuous interval of 2 pi, and this interval is very important. This is continuous. This omega value is continuous. This interval is continuous. This 2 pi interval is continuous. Please understand. Okay. We are having the discrete sequence, but after transformation, whatever we are getting x of omega here, it is in continuous form. Okay. Because this omega is the continuous. And this is basically this periodicity. This is true for any discrete time Fourier transform. Okay, so with this x of omega, we can reconstruct this x of n, original signal x of n, over this unique interval minus pi to pi. Okay, now to get the original signal back from the transformed x of omega. So in mathematical form, we can say that what I want small x of omega from what? From capital x of n from capital X of omega. Okay. Now this is over what I want, over the unique interval from minus pi to pi. Okay. And again, I need to add here the projection, inverse projection, that is e to the power j omega n. Okay. And there may be some constant term kappa 0 into d omega. Okay. This is the constant term. So we will find the value of this kappa. Okay. This is what? This is basically the unit vector. This vector is the unit vector. This vector is the unit vector. This is unit vector. And this is what? This is the continuous component of the system. Okay. Therefore, we are integrating this. If it is discrete, for discrete, we do the summation. That you need to understand. This is the continuous component. This is not a discrete component. Therefore, we have done the integration over the minus pi to pi. Okay. Now, let us consider minus pi to pi in integration from minus pi to pi of x of omega e to the power j omega n into d omega. We have considered this kappa not equal to 1 for time being, 1 as a constant. Okay. And we know that this x of omega is nothing but what? This is summation from, I took instead of n, I will write k, minus infinity to infinity x of k e to the power minus j omega k. Here minus is there while doing the transform. Now this is basically the inverse transformation we are finding. So for inverse transformation, this is plus. Okay. For the Fourier transform, the forward transform, we are having minus j omega k. Okay. Now, if you put the value here, so this is equal to what? Minus pi to pi summation from k equal to minus infinity to infinity x of k e to the power minus j omega k. This term into the remaining term is what? E to the power j omega and d omega. Okay. Now we have already applied the discrete time Fourier transform. So it is basically only applicable for the convergent system. Therefore, we say that this summation is converges. So this summation will converge. This will converge. Okay. Therefore, this sign of integration and the summation we can interchange. Therefore, I will took summation outside k minus infinity to infinity x of k, and integration I will write inside minus pi to pi e to the power j minus j omega k into e to the power j omega n into d omega. Okay. Now what is this? This is basically what? E to the power j omega n minus k. Okay. If n is not equal to k, because this n and k are the integer values. Okay, they are not changing. Omega is changing. Please understand. This omega is changing here. N and k will be the constant values which are integers. Okay. Now suppose this n minus k equal to 1, then there is a one cycle. If n minus k equal to 2, then there will be two cycles present. Okay. So if this n minus k is not equal to 0, in that case, there will be some value here. Now, we know that integration of e to the power alpha x into dx is what? E to the power alpha x by alpha. Okay. Now, I want to integrate this term, this term. Now, what is the integration of minus pi by pi e to the power j omega n minus k into d omega? This is what? E to the power j omega n minus k divided by j n minus k. Over what interval? From minus pi to pi. Now put the limit here. Now if you put the limit here, what you will get? E to the power j pi n minus k minus e to the power minus j pi n minus k divided by j into n minus k. Okay. So this is nothing but what? When n is not equal to 0, or when n is not equal to k, that means n minus k is not equal to 0. In that case, this is basically minus 1 to the power n minus k minus minus 1 to the power n minus k divided by j n minus k, which is nothing but 0. So this integral basically vanishes. This integral vanishes. Okay. Now when n equal to k, in that case, what will happen? If n is equal to k, then what will happen? Minus pi to pi e to the power j omega n minus k into d omega. So if this is 0, so this term is unit 1. So this is omega from pi to minus pi to pi. So you will get 2 pi, right? Therefore, we can say that integration from minus pi to pi x of omega e to the power j omega n d omega is nothing but what? 2 pi times x of n. This term we have already started with. We have started with what? We have started with, if I want to find x of n from x of omega. So we say that omega is nothing but the continuous, omega is having the continuous values. Therefore, we need to take the integration over this unique interval minus pi to pi. This is the unit factor which we need to add, that is the projection. So this is basically the projection of x of n over the x of omega. Okay. Now this 2 pi, how we got this 2 pi? If I take n equal to k, in that case I will get 2 pi. Therefore, this is nothing but I am getting 2 pi factor here. So if, what is the final equation? So final equation, I can say that this is 1 by 2 pi minus pi to pi x of omega into e to the power j omega and d omega is nothing but x of n. Okay. So this 1 by 2 pi factor is nothing but the kappa factor, k naught factor, which we have uh, taken as a unity while doing this derivation. Okay. So this is basically what? This is basically the inverse Fourier transform. This is inverse discrete time Fourier transform, inverse DTFT. Okay. So I can get the original sequence x of n if I am having the information of x of omega. Okay, so x of omega is the periodic with 2 pi, that you need to understand, and I can get x of n from x of omega with this formula. Okay, and this integration term should also converge. This should converge. Okay, so I can get x of n from x of omega with this formula. So that is equal to what? Inverse discrete time Fourier transform is what? This is equal to 1 by 2 pi integration over the interval minus pi to pi x of omega into e to the power j omega and into d omega. So if given DTFT, discrete time Fourier transform, then I can go back and I can find the original sequence x of n. Okay. Okay. So I can go back and find out the original sequence. But this is not the true, or we can say that there may be a problem if the sequence may not have the discrete time Fourier transform. If the sequence is already having the discrete time Fourier transform, then we can go back and then we can find the original sequence. But vice versa is not always true for the case. Okay, for the system. Okay, because there are some sequences which are not having the discrete time Fourier transform. Now, for example, if you take the sequence x of n equal to 2 to the power n for n greater than equal to 0 and it is 0 otherwise. Now, for this sequence, if you apply the discrete time Fourier transform, now if I want to find the discrete time Fourier transform, then what is the formula? So I want x of omega from x of n. So I will use this formula from, I will take the other notation, k summation over k from minus infinity to infinity x of k e to the power minus j omega k. Okay. Now what is x of k? Our given sequence is 2 to the power n. So I can write this is 2 to the power k here. K is changing from the summation over minus infinity to infinity e to the power minus j omega k. Okay. Now I can write this as 2 into e to the power j minus j omega, this whole power k. Okay. Now this is this is basically the geometric progression with the common ratio of 2 e to the power j omega. Okay. Now if you find out the magnitude for this, then this magnitude is basically greater than 1. For this type of system, if for this type of sequence, the magnitude what you will get magnitude greater than 1. So if you find the magnitude of 2 e to the power minus j omega, so this is nothing but what? 2, which is greater than 1. So the geometric progression does not converge. This is not a convergent. This is the not convergent. Okay. And therefore, because this is not convergent, we can say that x of n does not have Fourier transform. Okay. You can also say that this sequence is what? 2 to the power n. This is also, this is unstable type of system. Okay. So by looking at the sequence or system, you can also guess whether we can uh, get the Fourier transform for that particular sequence or not. Okay. So for this case, basically it is not, this x of n is not having the Fourier transform. Okay. Now in this PPT, okay. So what we have said this is basically the forward transform means what? Forward transform means, this is forward means discrete time Fourier transform. Inverse transform means inverse discrete time Fourier transform. So we'll get the h of, you can also simply write this as h of omega. Okay, this term, or otherwise you can also write e to the power j omega. Anything you can use. Okay, so we'll get h of e to the power j omega or h of omega from the h of n. Okay, this is the progression, and this we are doing the summation because this is in discrete form. Okay, now to get the inverse of this transformation, we will be using the integration sign because this h of omega is the continuous term. Okay, so these two formulas are very important. Okay, so you know that the z transform, so z transform is what? H of z. If I want to find out the z transform of this, so I will apply this formula. So this is summation from minus infinity to infinity h of n z of minus n. Okay, so this discrete time Fourier transform is same as the z transform, but what? But Z is equal to e to the power j omega. You need to put here, instead of Z, you write e to the power j omega there. Okay. So this is the same formula. Okay. This note is also important. Please. Now, why DTFT? Why discrete time Fourier transform? So every signal, if you see, this signal has three information. One is the amplitude, other is the frequency and phase. Okay. Like for example, this figure you can see here. This is the sinusoidal waveform. Okay. So you can get here amplitude on the y-axis. This is the one time period of the signal, and the phase phi, this is started with 0, therefore this phi is 0 in this case. But every signal has this three information: amplitude, frequency and the phase. Okay, so in signal filtering system, filtering is based on the frequency of the signal, and when the desired frequency component will be preserved while the unwanted frequency component will be removed from the signal. So this is basically what this is the filtering process. Now in this case, the Fourier transform is used. This is the application of Fourier transform. What is the application? Filtering system. So in this case, Fourier transform is used to sort the signal based on the frequency. So when the signal has been sorted based on its frequency, the process of preserving and removing frequency component in the signal will be possible. Okay. Now the discrete time frequency is what we have already seen this in the previous lecture. Discrete time frequency, in discrete signal frequency is what? The ratio of the actual continuous time the frequency of actual continuous time signal divided by the sampling frequency. So this sampling frequency is also having unit hertz, this is also having unit hertz. So this, the frequency in the discrete signal is basically the ratio of f by fs, and it has no unit. Okay, but for the original signal, which is in continuous signal, which is continuous signal, so that is having the frequency f. Okay, these are very important. Now, so beside hertz, frequency also is also normally presented in radians. So in continuous signal, it is in radians per second, which is what, 2 pi into the capital F. Okay, which we represent with capital omega. This is the frequency omega in the continuous time domain. Now in the discrete time, we represent with this omega, which is nothing but 2 pi f. Okay, this f is nothing but f by fs, ratio of original frequency divided by the sampling frequency. This is basically is not having any unit, but we always write it is in radians because it is multiplied with this 2 pi. So this omega is always in radians. Okay. So when we apply the discrete time Fourier transform, then what basically we are doing, we are sorting the frequency component of the signal. And this is basically based on the omega. So you will always find omega on the x-axis, and there may be a magnitude of the system here, x of omega, I will say. Okay. So we can sort out the frequency component of the signal using this Fourier transform. Okay. So instead of this e to the power j omega, we can simply write h of omega here. Now, if I want to represent this Fourier transform in terms of f, then the formulation is like this. Okay, instead of omega, you can write 2 pi f. Okay, in place of omega, you just write 2 pi f there. Else it is same. So here also, instead of omega, you just simply write f there. Okay. Now the notations are very important. If I'm having the continuous time signal, now this continuous time signal I can represent in the time domain and the frequency domain. Okay. Now continuous time signal in time domain, I can say this is x of t. This x is small and t is small. Please understand these notations are very important. So x is what this is the function. Okay. This is function which is in small letter, and t is the index, time index. This is also in the small letter. In case of frequency domain, if I want to represent continuous time system or signal, in that case, this x is capital. This function is capital letter, and this index is also a capital letter. So here in frequency domain, what is the index? Frequency. In the time domain, index is time. Okay. Frequency domain, index is frequency. Okay, so this can be represented with x of omega or x of f. Okay, this omega is what? 2 pi into f. This is the same. Now, if I'm having the discrete time system, so this discrete time system in time domain, I can represent with x of n. Again, this x function is in small, n is also in small index. It is integer value. This n is having the integer value. And in the frequency domain, this is capital X. The function is in capital letter and the index frequency is in small letter. Okay. So in case of discrete time, we represent with this small letters, index term with the small letters. Okay. Now this is magnitude and space spectrum. Okay, till now, do you have any doubts? Are you understanding this DTFT? Yes.
Yes.
Have you understood how we find out the Fourier transform? Is
Yes,
this okay for
doctor.
you? Okay. Okay, then I will continue. Okay. So notations are very important. This you keep in mind for continuous time, discrete time, time domain, frequency domain. Okay. So basically, using Fourier transform, we get the frequency domain value of the time domain signal. Okay. Now magnitude and phase spectrum. Now you have already learned this term in the Z transform also. Now this is similar to Z transform. Okay. Because Fourier transform is also a complex value where this complex value is having the imaginary part as well as the real part separated. So the magnitude and phase we can find out with this formula. So I will say that this Fourier transformed signal is having the real part and the imaginary part. So real part I will say HR of omega, this for real, plus J times the imaginary part, this is capital I. This is again index is having omega. Okay. Now magnitude, if I want to find out the magnitude of this h of omega, that is equal to under root of the real part square plus imaginary part square. Okay, and if I want to find the phase of this signal h of omega, so I will represent this with the angle sign. Angle h of omega is equal to tan inverse of the imaginary part divided by the real part. Okay. Now other spectrum representation, like if you want to find out the magnitude in dBs. So in magnitude, to find magnitude in dB, so you can apply this formula. 20 log to the base 10, the magnitude of h of omega. Okay. So you can find magnitude in dB. 20 log 10 mod of h of omega is the formula. Okay. And if you find the energy, energy is nothing but this square, magnitude square, which is in terms, we can say this is h of omega into complex conjugate of h of omega. Then you will get the energy term. Okay. Now, x-axis of all the spectrums. Spectrums are what? The magnitude spectrum, phase spectrum, energy spectrum, or magnitude in dB spectrum. So for dB, you need to write here dB. This should be B here. Okay. This is magnitude and this is magnitude in dB. Okay. So the x-axis of all these spectrums is the frequency component omega. Okay. And y-axis of the spectrum is the value of the spectrum, whatever you are calculating, magnitude, phase, energy, and the dB value of the magnitude. Okay. Now the spectrum, how to plot these spectrums. So if you see the x-axis here, this x-axis normally this spectrum will plot it from omega. This is omega. X-axis is omega, and this is omega will vary from 0 to 2 pi or from minus pi to pi. So there should be a fixed interval of 2 pi. Okay. And this spectrum will repeat after every 2 pi. Okay. So you can plot this spectrum either ways, like this or like this, from 0 to 2 pi or from minus pi to pi. You can plot this spectrum. Here also again, here can be a magnitude, phase, energy. Okay. Now for example, if I'm having the signal h of n like this, okay, x-axis n, and here having the unit magnitude. Now how to write this signal h of n? H of n is what? At minus 1, this is n equal to 0, n equal to 1, n equal to minus 1. So the first is n equal to minus 1 is having value 1. So this is delta of n plus 1 plus 1 into delta of 0 plus delta of n minus 1. Like this, I can write this sequence or signal in terms of what? The impulse function. Okay. Any sequence or any signal, discrete time signal, you can write in terms of step response and impulse response. Here I have written in terms of the impulse response. Okay. So this is the representation. Now in this example, what is asked? Plot the magnitude response of this h of omega, phase, and the energy function. This is asked. Okay. Now this is h of omega is what? H of omega is the Fourier transform of h of n. Now, in that case, you need to first apply the Fourier transform on h of n. So, what is the formula? I want h of omega from h of n. So, this is the formula from n equal to minus infinity to infinity, e to the power minus j omega n. Okay. Now, this h of n is, you can write this h of n like this. Okay. So I have written this here into e to the power j omega n summation from minus infinity to infinity. Okay. Now you separate all this addition term. So you can multiply this term with every this term. Okay. So the first term is what? Summation of n equal to minus infinity to infinity delta n plus 1 into e to the power j omega n. Okay. Now, the value, if you do summation over this, what you will get? You will get e to the power j omega. Now, summation of this into this over this interval is what? This is equal to 1. And for this, it is e to the power j omega. Okay. So, what we will get here? We will get h of omega equal to 1 plus e to the power j omega plus e to the power minus j omega. Again, this we can represent in terms of cos. So cos of omega is what? Cos of omega is nothing but e to the power j omega plus e to the power minus j omega divided by 2. So if I'm having this term, so this is equal to what? 2 times the cos of omega term. Okay. Therefore, here instead of this, 2 times cos omega is written. Okay. So I will say that h of omega is 1 plus 2 cos omega. Okay. Now this h of omega is having only the real part. What is the imaginary part of this h of omega? 0. There is no j term here. Therefore, hr omega I can say 1 plus 2 cos omega. Hi omega I can say it is 0. Okay. Now, if I want to find out, these are some trigonometric equations. Okay, cos of omega, sine of omega, e to the power j omega is nothing but cos plus j sine omega. Okay, these are important relations. Now we'll continue this example. Now, if I want to find the magnitude of h of omega, so I can simply apply this formula and I will get the value. So what you will get magnitude? This is the magnitude. And the phase, if I want to find the phase, this is the phase. Tan inverse of imaginary but real. Imaginary is having 0. This is this. Now, if h of omega, so this angle, this is 0 if h of omega is greater than 0. This is pi if it is less than 0. And this is minus pi if it is minus h of minus omega is less than 0. Okay. And if you want to find the energy function, so energy is nothing but what? The magnitude square. So you simply do the square of this magnitude. Okay. Now, if you want to plot these magnitude, the energy function, and the phase. Okay. Now, this is basically the real part of the h of omega. So, what we have got as a real part here? Real part, I say that this is basically hr of omega is 1 plus 2 cos of omega. Okay. And imaginary part hi of omega is nothing but 0. So it simply it is 0. Okay. And this is 1 plus 2 cos of omega is what? This is what? you need to add 1 here to the 2 cos omega. So your signal cos function will go up by 1. Okay. So you can plot this 1 plus 2 cos omega like this. How to plot cos here? Cos we simply plot like this cos function. Okay. If you add 1 here, that is 1, and this is having magnitude 2. Therefore, at n equal to 0 here, omega equal to 0 here, what you will get? This 1 plus this 2, you will get 3 here. So it should be 3 here. Okay, so like this, you can plot this 1 plus 2 cos omega. Okay, so addition of this 2 is nothing but okay. Now, if you do the square of this is the energy function. So if you plot the energy function means what? 1 plus 2 cos omega square. Okay. So you will get this type of plot here. Now, if you want to find plot the angle, angle is what? From 0 to 2 pi minus 2 pi you will get here. So angle plot you can plot like this. This is having 0 value for omega, h of omega is greater than equal to 0. And h of omega is less than equal to 0. In that case, it is minus pi. And for h of minus omega less than 0, it is plus pi. Okay. So this is pi minus pi for this value and this value. Okay. So like this, you can plot the angle. Okay. Now the second example, like suppose you are having the sequence x of n is equal to cos of 0.1 pi n, and this is from n equal to 0 to 40. Now cos of 0.1 pi n, so can you find out the frequency f here? What is the frequency here? This frequency is the omega is 0.1 pi. 2 pi f is equal to 0.1 pi, pi cancel. So the frequency is 0.05 hertz. Okay. And the sampling frequency, if you take the time period for sampling is 20, then the frequency, the if frequency is 0.5, then what is the time period? Time period is basically the 20. Okay, this is the figure of this function x of n. Okay, so x of n is plotted here over the interval from 0 to 40 sample. So size of sample is 40 here. Okay. Now let us find out the Fourier transform for this. So again, you just apply the Fourier transform formula here. x of n into the power j omega. Instead of x of n, write cos of 0.1 pi n. Again, you can split this cos function e to the power j 0.1 pi n plus e to the power minus j divided by 2 here. This term is same as it is. Now, if you multiply this term with this two term, what you will get here? Like this. Okay. Now, basically, in our case, the size of samples are given, that is from n equal to 0 to 40. Therefore, you take summation from n equal to 0 to 40 instead of minus infinity to infinity. Okay. So if I take 1 by 2 outside, summation of this is equal to this. Now, again, you just split up this term. So you put summation and half here. So the summation of this term is what? This term is nothing but 1 minus e to the power j. If you solve this over the summation from 0 to 40, you will get this. Okay. If you solve this for this 0 to 40, you will get this. These are the standard formulas. Okay. So you will get the h of omega like this. Okay. Now, for in this h of omega, you can see there is also a real part as well as the imaginary part. Okay. Now you can find out the magnitude for this h of omega. You can also plot the angle for h of omega. Okay. Now if you plot this omega from this h of omega magnitude from 0 to 2 pi, so you will get the plot like this. Okay. And if you plot magnitude from minus pi to pi, this is the plot from 0 to 2 pi. This is the magnitude spectrum from minus pi to pi. So this is the plot of the magnitude from the minus pi to pi. Again, if you want to find out the phase, so phase also you can find. So you will get the phase spectrum over 0 to 2 pi like this. And it's not plotted here. From minus pi to pi, you will get the, you can also get the phase spectrum. Okay. So like this, these plots you can plot using the MATLAB function, or in Python also you can plot this. So we will see how to plot these uh, plots in the MATLAB. I think in week 6 or 7 we will see that MATLAB uh, code for this. Okay. Now this is the next example. This is the same, but this phi is added here. The phase is added. Okay. 0.5 pi. And what is if you add the phase of minus 0.5 pi. Okay, after adding the phase, what changes will be there in the magnitude plot and the phase plot, that also we can see. Okay, so we will see this in detail when while doing the MATLAB coding for this. Okay, so again there is another example. This is the another example of discrete time Fourier transform. You can also go through this discrete example. You can also try this type of plots in MATLAB. If you are comfortable with MATLAB, then you can also yourself you can try MATLAB or Python. Okay, so for today, I think we will stop here. Yes, any doubt is there? Can you try to draw plots in MATLAB?
Try to plot using.
Try to plot these magnitude plot, the phase plot. You can try by yourself. Otherwise, we will see in our upcoming lecture also. But if you get time, then you can also try, because there are simple formulas and simple functions in the MATLAB. Using that, you can easily get this plot.
Okay, doctor.
Okay, any doubt is there? Have you understood discrete time Fourier transform? How to do the Fourier transform? Yes, no doubt. You are also having quiz now today?
It's okay. Yes, we're having our quiz today,
Yeah, what time it is?
right?
Okay, so for lecture, we will stop here. Okay, so you can stop recording. Oh, I'm only the stop recording.